Hello everybody and welcome back to our brand new episode of our NASCAR Heat 5 career mode here on the channel. I hope you're all having a great day. Today we are road racing again, back-to-back episodes here from Mid-Ohio, fresh off of William Byron ending a 1+ season long winless streak in Road America. He looks to come back for more here in Mid-Ohio. In the field as part-timers this weekend, you got AJ Allmendinger for Colleague and the new team that made their debut last episode. Of course, JHR, Junkos Hollinger Racing from IndyCar with Stingray Rob behind the wheel again as we come through into some qualifying. Got the Target colors back on the car, and as well we had a big announcement that was kind of teased in the last episode off of our Indy 500 announcement. Well, it was announced, maybe much larger news than the three drivers of myself, Larson, and Kyle Busch combined. Max Verstappen has announced entrance in this season's Indianapolis 500. You will see him behind the wheel of an IndyCar going for an Indy 500 win against the IndyCar regulars, and myself, Kyle Larson, and Kyle Busch all in the next episode on the Coca-Cola 600 doubleheader day and weekend. So that is going to be extremely exciting, and I'm very curious to see, you know, which one of us four that are kind of coming from different motorsports are going to come out on top. So yeah, very excited to see how that's going to go as we come through the rest of our qualifying lap here, and was fairly happy and confident with the pace and the handling of the car as we come through the final couple of turns, down through the penultimate turn, and then one left-hander to go down this front straightaway hard on the throttle with the goal of a 126.0. We hit a 124.560 and actually only go P15, which was quite surprising for a lap that felt pretty solid. So that might be one of our worst qualifying efforts ever here, but Shane Van Gisbergen on pole by almost a full tenth over Chris Buescher. Chastain, Allmendinger, Larson the top 5, Zilich up there in P7, Eckes and Chandler Smith rounding out the top 10, Corey Heim up there as well. As you can see, I mean, Gibbs down in 24th. Last episode winner William Byron in 30th. A terrible qualifying effort for the Hendrick driver. As you see, Parker Retzlaff, your Talladega winner from a few races ago, in dead last behind Ryan Preece, Josh Berry, Taylor Gray, Sammy Smith, and Ty Dillon as well. We did have Trucks and Amazon Prime Series races this weekend as well. On the Truck Series side, it was Daniel Hemrick actually who picked up the victory over Stephen Malazzi as well. You see the rest of the top 5 and the rest of the order in general. So great to see Hemrick win for Andretti Global. I believe that might be their first win for that team in the Truck Series. Now, on the Amazon Prime Series side of things, we would actually see Denny Hamlin on top again, actually getting a road course win over Andres Perez and Daniel Suarez. So Hamlin gets the victory in Mid-Ohio on the Prime side of things, his second win of this season now, as we are ready to go Cup Series racing from Mid-Ohio Sunday afternoon. Let's head to the track.
Back-to-back road races following a super speedway race at Talladega. This has been a wild stretch of races, Brad, and overall a wild stretch to start the season.
In the first 11 races, we have 3 super speedways and 3 road courses, Mike. That is 6 wildcard races up for grabs in the first half of the regular season.
Yeah, I don't know what we were missing in qualifying, guys, but yeah, we'll just stay after today. I mean, I'm confident in the pace in this car, and we'll find our way to the front.
You always do at these tracks. Let's stick to our routine.
You hear conversation between myself and our spotter, Jay Cook. Parker Retzlaff qualified last and then gets sent to the back from last after failing the scanning station there. Now, as we are ready to go green, Shane Van Gisbergen, another driver trying to end a winless streak, and so is Chris Buescher, both haven't won in over a season. The green flag is out. We saw Byron do it last episode. Can we see it done here in Mid-Ohio as we sail it off down now into turn number 1, down this short straightaway towards that next heavy braking hairpin. A lot of heavy braking corners in the first half of this track here as we go 3 wide to the outside of Chase Briscoe there in the 98 for RFK, and Tyler Reddick on the far inside going forward. There's defending champ Christopher Bell going forward. He was in the mix for the first, 80% it felt like of that race in Road America until he kind of fell off a little bit as that race got towards the end. Now, is actually getting a little bit of help on corner entry from the 98 of Briscoe, who kind of pushes us off into the corner, as I'm going to run him a little bit wide on entrance myself there. So P17, P16 P16 area as we're side by side with the 22 of Logano. We will clear him at the apex now, just behind the 33 of Jesse Love, who's been by far the standout, maybe improved driver of the season compared to what we saw him do in his rookie season, as well. The just standout driver at RCR now, as he is side by side with the 20 of Bell. And now we're kind of blocked in here. Logano's gotten back to my right side as Ross Chastain actually to the front in these opening moments, which is a bit surprising, as I really didn't think SVG would give up the lead, and Chris Buescher as well has given up some track position as we're beating and banging with the 22. 6 laps here in stage 1, so we can make it to the end of stage 1. Stage 2 is going to be a few extra laps, so we will not be able to make it to the end of stage 2 on field, but stage 1, it's just a straight up race. Now going for a move, 3 wide, now just 2 wide on the run down into turn 2. We'll show the nose on the number 20 DeWalt Toyota Camry. Love that paint scheme in the 20 for Christopher Bell, and we'll clear him on the exit of the corner up into P14 behind Alex Bowman. Bowman, maybe one of the underrated road course racers in the field. Of course, in real life, got the Chicago Street Course win last year in 2024, but here in our Heat 5 career mode, finally we saw Bowman's top 3 streak come to an end at Road Americas, actually getting to the back of him, but Bowman had 3 consecutive top 3 races, including a win. So Bowman, of course, locked into the playoffs, but not only is he locked into the playoffs, but he's been climbing his way up the regular season standings and really getting involved in that. Alex Bowman, I mean, we talked about improved drivers. It's really 2 RCR drivers. Bowman was at RCR last season in the number 31, almost won the Daytona 500, but still had a pretty mid-season overall, but it was just not good for RCR in general. Bowman, of course, has stepped up massively since he's gotten the opportunity with Joe Gibbs Racing. By far been the second best driver at the team behind Christopher Bell, and then Chandler Smith has been having his ups and downs. Right now he's just a little bit out of the playoffs, and Ty Gibbs as well has had a pretty rough season so far. He finds himself out of the playoffs. There's going to be some big names this season that miss the playoffs. There's no way to get around that. I mean, there's just so many big names now a part of our roster that are competitive. It's going to be difficult for many drivers to make it into the playoffs this season, as now we have worked our way into the top 10 with 2 laps to go on the stage, and Corey Heim, who's just, you never know what to expect from him. He's either going to run top 10, we saw him run very well recently, or he's going to run 35th. It's just a very hit or miss season to start for Corey Heim after a really rough first 2 years of his Cup Series career. Now, can he find his groove? We know he's got the talent. He just needs to find the confidence, I think, now as we approach the final lap of the stage. And we've gone from a 15th starting position up into P9, and you see up front now it's Chris Buescher. So the 17 has gotten past Chastain and Shane Van Gisbergen, so they go to the lead. SVG is actually in 3rd, fighting with Chastain as we clear our teammate of Noah Gragson. Right now, all 3 junior motorsports cars inside the top 10. Hocevar's running 6. Allmendinger there for Colleague down to P7 as we head down into turn 2. Chris Buescher, another underrated road course racer, actually in real life has the best average finish on road courses in the next gen car, so he just doesn't have the wins to back it up, with only 1 win at Watkins Glen in 2024. Here in the NASCAR Heat 5 side, he hasn't really always been a guy we look at when it comes to road course racing, but here he is today in Mid-Ohio. He is showing up now as Allmendinger right on my back bumper here on this final lap of the stage, but that was all he had. We would drive away from him and run down Carson Hocevar, our other teammate there in the Brandt colors, but Buescher wins stage 1. It's a drag race to the end for SVG and Chastain, but Shane Van Gisbergen gets second over his Trackhouse teammate, and Connor Zilic. It's 3 Trackhouse cars there in the top 5. We'll round the final turn. It's P7 for us here in stage 1 after starting P15. We gain 8 positions. Really nothing to complain about the car at this point. Very happy with how that stage went there. So Larson there in P4, as well as Hocevar, myself, Allmendinger, Heim, and Gragson in the top 10. One driver that's been fading is Chandler Smith. He's well down the order, down to 21st. Kyle Busch and Rajah Caruth, 2 drivers that I'm paying attention to going forwards. Ty Gibbs in 30th. He had a really rough race last time we came here to Mid-Ohio when it was the elimination race to get into the final 4, and that was what led him to getting eliminated by 1 single point to his teammate of Christopher Bell, who went on to win the championship. And he's struggling again. Mid-Ohio, just not a track that's great for Ty Ty Gibbs now as we start stage number 2. Behind the HendrickCars.com machine of Kyle Larson, we're forced 3 wide. Carson Hocevar forced it 3 wide up the inside of myself and Zilich and pushed us both wide. And Gregson's going to pounce on things as well. And Zilich is 3 wide in the middle between myself and it was Bush. And at one point, Gregson, Hocevar, and now it was Omendinger. But Kyle Busch, we just talked about him. He's coming forward as I'm getting aggressive 3 wide up the inside of the 88. But Kyle Busch is into P7. He started the stage in 11th, I think it was. So now we get alongside Hocevar. He's actually going to surprisingly let us go, which was not what I expected after he just made such an aggressive move. But he fights back into the braking zone. I always have to brake so much earlier into this corner than the AI, and it opens up the door of opportunity for them to make those big dive bomb moves or even knock me out of the way, either one. But nonetheless, Kyle Busch goes through into P6. We go through into P5. We still come out on top of that fight, even with braking earlier. As we come through towards the end of lap 1, you can see we got 9 laps here in stage 2, so we will have to pit no matter what, under green or under caution now. But we have gone from 15th, we've gained 10 spots, and we're up to 5th. The question is, do we have the pace to run down a Larson, a Zilich, and a Shane Van Gisbergen up there in 3rd position now? As well, you can see, sorry, not Connor Zilich, Ross Chastain. Zilich is behind us, but Chastain up there in P3, SVG in P2, trying to keep Buescher honest, who won stage 1. Chris Buescher, I mean, just such a talented racer, such a consistent racer, hasn't had the luck he's been wanting this season, and maybe last season as well, as he did go winless, and he only had a 1 win season the year before. And then of course we've talked about it many times, of course in season 2 he was fighting for a championship in the final 4. What a, you know, kind of slow downfall for the 17, and maybe not even for Buescher, but just RFK in general. But we know Chase Briscoe right now finds himself well inside the playoffs, up there in about the top 10 in points, so he's been having a very solid season. Christian Eckes had a very strong start to his, of course, first few races with RFK, replacing the retiring Brad Keselowski, but that injury has completely changed things. I will start showing his points updated very soon, so you guys can get an idea of where he is going to be ranking at, because he, of course, is in the game in the playoffs because of the points that Josh Berry was able to accumulate for him, but that's not actually the case. So Eckes, of course, will lose all those points now, as it looks like we've got trouble. Sammy Smith for Andretti Global, tire going down off into the sand. He comes back on the racetrack right in front of Ty Gibbs, and he's going to cut across his nose. He's going to take Gibbs into the barrier. 2 cars into the barrier. What is Sammy Smith doing? We're going to stay green, and Gibbs is going to be livid about that one. A bad day gone worse. He's now at the back of the field as we approach lap 5 of stage number 2, and that was really not what we expected to see there. Smith is going to limp it back around to the pit lane eventually, and Gibbs, I mean, of course, with damage on the car, he's going to be off the pace. He's going to have to make a pit stop here soon, and everyone's going to have to make a pit stop. We're in the pit window because you can get 6 laps of fuel in the car on a full tank, and we've got right now 5 laps to go in the stage, so we can pit at any point from now, and we'll be good to go to the end. And you want to pit sooner rather than later, so you don't get an awkward timed caution that screws you over if you stay out longer than other guys that pit, and they won't lose a lap, so they can just leapfrog you. So at the end of lap 5, I expect to see some drivers pit, and I'm considering doing the same. I believe we're going to see, it looks like Buescher pits, but SVG stays out. These two in front of me stay out, but they're going to fight side by side, so I'm going to make a last second call. We don't want to be losing time in a battle in front of us, so we're going to pit now. So we'll come in for fuel, tires, no adjustments. The car's driving fine. It's just the driver needs to find a bit more speed as we'll get these 4 tires on and off this car in about a 15-second pit stop. Of course, very inaccurate to current day pit stops now that are about 9-10 seconds as we will rejoin the track well behind the 17 of Chris Buescher. Who is going to benefit on this strategy? Is pitting earlier the optimal idea, or is pitting a lap later or 2? Actually, you can't go any more laps. They will have to pit this lap. There's a lot of cars currently in the pits, as you can see on the track map. We're still in the top 15, right to the back of the 34 of Eric Jones. We would clear him pretty easily, but unfortunately for myself, I would struggle to get past the 16 of Ty Dillon, so I would give up some time there. And now, as we come through the final turn, everyone's on the pits, but Shane Van Gisbergen, he's exiting the pits, and He's got the lead. SVG is going to actually find a way to do the overcut on Chris Buescher and take the lead of this race. And we leapfrog the 5 and others as well, Chastain, and we move up into P3. So the undercut works for me, but doesn't work for Buescher. The overcut works for the 97 of Shane Van Gisbergen. So SVG out in front, coming to the final few laps of stage number 2. Can he hold on over that 17 car? I mean, don't give Shane Van Gisbergen the lead on a road course. It's going to be very difficult to get back around him. I say that he started on pole and gave up the lead within the first lap. Nonetheless, for us, I mean, we can't complain. I mean, we just gained a few more positions on the track, and we approached the final lap at this point, and it's a 4-second gap on the cars behind and a similar gap to the cars ahead. So simply not enough time and I was to run them now, but I was finding some good pace in this car that was getting a lot closer to my personal best at this track. I was coming within a few tenths. Does actually make a mistake going wide over the curb there. It's a really easy corner to do that. As we got trouble on this final lap, that's Josh Berry for Rick Ware Racing. He'll go a lap down, and we're going to have to go around him, but engine blowing and giving out on the 15. No caution. SVG, though, rounds the final turn. Shane Van Gisbergen down the front straightaway wins his first stage of the season just behind Ty Gibbs, who holds on to the lead lap. Chris Buescher in P2. I'm sure he wants that lead back as we cross the stripe for the 3rd position in the stage. And we're having a lot better day than Christopher Bell, putting ourselves in a good position to potentially take over the regular season championship lead today. Zilish in P7, Chastain 6 behind Kyle Busch and Larson. All of Trackhouse in the top 7. They're having a fantastic day. Gregson, my teammate, in 8th. Bowman and Briscoe, the rest of the top 10. Everybody's going to pit here for 4 tires and fill it up on fuel. How about Stingray Rob running up there in the top 25? Byron, who started 30th, has gotten into the top 25 as well, but a slow-moving day for the 24 Raptor machine as SVG, Chris Buescher lead the field. Back to the green flag, which is out here from stage 3, getting underway. 14 laps of racing behind us as the Trackhouse row 3, with Busch and Chastain on row 4. It's Zilish as well, and row 1, it's in command Shane Van Gisbergen, clear of Chris Buescher down the chute towards turn 2. Larson we get clear of into the corner now, as I'm actually going to drive way too deep into the corner. We go a little bit wide. Chastain took Larson 3 wide. Larson's getting shuffled back, and here comes Chastain to my right side. We'll go wheel to wheel, but not for long. Easily clear of that Moose sponsored Honda Civic for Trackhouse Racing. Now, Buescher, what can he do? Can he stick with SVG? Can he pass him? Can I stick with these two? As now Chastain sends it alongside into the braking zone. I kind of run him a little bit wide there, shutting the door, saying I just really don't want to battle with you right now, so I'm just going to kind of close the door on you. I want to be able to focus on running these guys down in front of us here, and you see Buescher is keeping SVG in a vulnerable position, just staying close enough within a few car lengths now. But as well, I mean, we have a lot of laps of racing here in the stage. We have over 12 laps to go in this race, which means this is a 2-stop race from here. Unless you save a lot of fuel, you could maybe try 1 stop, but that's just very unlikely to happen, almost impossible. So it is a 2-stop race, and it's now a 1-stop race because the caution comes out, and it's for Stingray Rob. Tire down there on his second Cup start, and second Cup start as well for that new team with Junko Solinger Racing, and caution will put the fuel window to within 1 stop. Now, nobody's going to pit. We're all going to stay out on the racetrack, but it still makes it a 1-stop race with the laps that we lose under caution. So the race just got a lot simpler. I just want the final stage of Mid-Ohio to play out one day to where we can do that 2-stop strategy. But nonetheless, we get back underway now. It's 10 laps of racing to go, 5 laps of fuel, which means we will get to 5 to go. Fuel window, 6 laps of fuel you can get out of the car. So do the simple math, it's a 1-stop. Now as we head down the straightaway, SVG clear of Buescher again. Into the braking zone we go. Now as we actually go a little bit too deep again, actually way too deep into the grass. This is second consecutive restart we've done that, and actually Buescher's gotten up the inside of SVG. He's completely caught him off guard. He completely caught me off guard. Didn't see that coming. Now Buescher back to the lead over Shane Van Gisbergen. We run P3 still. Chastain in 4th. Kyle Busch, Connor Zilish, all those guys to follow. Kyle Larson's trying to go back forward as I go a little bit too deep into turn 3, and Chastain's actually able to pounce on it. He takes 3rd position now as I break a little bit too deep, trying to avoid getting run over, and well, the consequence was I missed the corner and lose the position anyways. So Larson's now back up into P6 as he was able to get past Noah Gregson, and I know Connor Zilic is following through as well to go up into P7 behind Larson, as I looked for a bit of a nose right there on the one car, but couldn't quite make the move. Now, if I could brake at the same point in that corner that the AI brake, I mean, that would honestly change so much of this race for us, but we just don't have the capability to do it, so we have to be patient. But now, a great exit here out of turn 2 on lap 28, and now look to the right side of Chastain. Beautiful paint scheme on that number 1 Honda Civic, as we'll breeze past him. Chastain pulls over, says, have at it. We go through into P3. Can we run down SVG, as Chastain actually dive bombs up the inside? He's not giving it up now as we continue side by side. Now through the left-hander, one heck of a battle with the one we have had today of Chastain a few moments earlier, and especially in this final stage. Kyle Busch just behind his Trackhouse teammate there, but we clear Chastain again for third, and we are free to run away now as Chris Buescher is pitting. Chris Buescher is pitting, coming to 7 laps to go. You can't make it from here. Buescher has essentially maybe thrown his race away from the lead unless he saves fuel or gets a lucky time caution. He's not making it to the end of this race. He's going to have to pit again. Now, if we pit at the end of this lap, we will make it, and that's our goal. We're going to come into the pit box right here at the end of lap 29. So, Shane Van Gisbergen leads the lap now as Chastain continues to put some pressure on me. SVG's pitting now, coming to lap 30. We're going to box in. Everybody behind us right there is pitting with Chastain, Busch, Larson as well. It's going to be a 4-tire stop. Very straightforward. Crash in the back, though. It's Byron. You Road America winner off into the sand, and the yellow's going to fly. Oh, boy. Chris Buescher, I think, just got royally screwed as we'll get 4 tires. And we are going to be the leader because at the time of the caution, we were the furthest down the pit lane. So we just got the gift of a lifetime, and we will be leading on the restart. But Chris Buescher is actually going to pit to top up on fuel because he couldn't make it to the end. So Buescher is down in 26th position, but he has to take less fuel, so he should move up from that. But all of us had to stay out, or could stay out, and now we're on the front row with Chastain, and SVG shuffled down to 5th position. Green flags back out, 3 laps to go, in position now to fight for a victory now. Busch and Larson just behind. Into turn 1, we sail it off into the corner to clear Chastain, who does the switchback. Chastain comes back at us, takes the lead of this race as we make the run towards turn 2. SVG in the third. What a move from Shane Van Gisbergen. 3 wide to get back into the fight. Now we dive it up the inside. We open up the wheel, kind of run the one car out of room and force him to back out of it now. We get a little bit aggressive right there. That's been the motto of the season. We're going to get aggressive when we need to be. Larson's back in front of SVG and pressuring the one of Chastain. They run side by side down this long straightaway now, as this is the corner to be concerned about. Are they going to get to us? Say, well, Chastain's going to hit us. Chastain moves us out of the groove. We continue wheel to wheel now. We've got to get defensive. Going a little bit wide. Opens the door for the one. Chastain's back alongside as we come through the right-hander again. Can we get clear? We shut the door on the one, saying you're not coming through. We continue the aggression on the run through the double right-handers. Now we hop up over the curb and it flattens out the car and we slide into the grass. Chastain goes through and my aggression ends up getting the best of me. And Chastain takes the lead over Larson. And now Kyle Busch, SVG, Zilic, all of Trackhouse in the top 5. They're all scrapping it out here as I'm still sliding. Now we do have damage on the back bumper from the one car hitting us, so of course it's going to free us up. And now I'm driving with the slightly damaged car. That's not going to impact our speed, but we are driving upset now as we have contacts beating and banging with the 9 of Chase Elliott, trying to continue to go forward in these last couple of laps. Now 2 laps to go, and a costly error after getting really aggressive against the one of Chastain. Almost a bit of karma, as now Elliott's going to give us the bumper as well. He's maybe not happy with me as we stay in front. Ross Chastain, I mean, what a steal of a win, as, I mean, we had a back and forth battle. It got physical, but, I mean, none of us really did anything egregious, and now he's going to capitalize on my error. So, SVG now coming to the final lap is going to get right on the door of his teammate. These two were going at it last lap. They run into each other. Now they continue side by side. Thank you very much. 3 wide around the outside. We'll get them both to start the final lap. This will put us into P4 behind Kyle Busch. What a race for Kyle Busch in third, and Shane Van Gisbergen Gisbergen goes from being in position to win to being the worst finishing Trackhouse driver if it stands this way at the end of this lap. Now he's down to P6. As his, of course, win will have to wait a bit longer. Ross Chastain, what a drive from the one. Both of us were able to benefit from that timing of the caution, and unfortunately for me, we're going to come out on the short end of it, and Chastain's going to come out with the win as I hop up over the curb again, and it does the same thing. It flattens out the car. We've made that same mistake 3 times today. Just that one time a few laps ago was a lot more costly. As Kyle Larson's in second, Busch, myself, Zilish, the top 5. Ross Chastain for the first time this season for him in Trackhouse. He's going to come through down the front straightaway. Ross Chastain to victory lane, puts himself in the playoffs over Larson, Busch, myself, and SVG got Zilish at the end. Shane Van Gisbergen rounds out the top 5 over Zilish in 6. Elliott, Logano, Bell, and Briscoe, the top 10 finishers. Buescher rebounded to P11 over Gregson, Eckes, Carruth, and how about Todd Gilliland? A nice top 15 effort there for him. Our other teammates, Hosevart down there in 19th place. Chandler Smith ended up 25th. Byron ends up 30th after even crashing, and Gibbs just had a terrible day in 35th. I mean, what an interesting race, and we do take the regular season championship lead by 5 points over Christopher Bell. Elliott's not far out of the mix, and Kyle Larson's coming back quick here, 5th in the standings. And on the playoffs, you can see the updated grid. Chastain's now in. Next episode, the Coke 600. As you can see, Retzlaff not on the playoff grid because he's not in the top 30 in points now. And of course, like I said, Eckes is not actually in the playoffs because of the injury. So Reddick on the right bottom there is actually the last car in over Buescher, Gregson, Hocevar, and Carruth. We need a rebound race. We're looking to do that in Charlotte. I'll see you guys then for the double Indy 500 with 3 NASCAR drivers and Formula 1 superstar of Max Verstappen all going for that victory. I'll see you guys then. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.